Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout video. So today, Bethesda have shared a couple bits more information regarding the upcoming Atlantic City update, including new enemies, including some new AI for them as well, new camp updates, and some of the rewards we'll be getting as well from the update. So let's jump in and take a look at this. Okay, yeah, so Bethesda have shared their second Atlantic City dev dive yesterday, actually, and well, they had said it was going to be next week, and either I slept for a lot longer than I thought I did recently, or that was the shortest week I've ever seen. Bethesda, wink wink nudge nudge. But anyway, we have some news. So, we have new enemies, including new AI, we have some camp updates, a couple of cool new features there, and a look at some of the rewards as well, so that should be interesting. Obviously, there will be a couple of spoilers here, so if you don't want to know about the enemy types and the way they behave and stuff like that, or any of the rewards we're getting, probably not the video for you. But, you know, other than that, let's dive in and have a look. There won't be any story points on this, so that's cool. So, new enemies first up. We've got 3 major new enemy types, which look quite interesting and quite cool. We have the Overgrown, the Lesser Devil, and the Jersey Devil, much requested, and already data mined, I should say. So, the Overgrown, first up, are the new one of the new general enemies. They look to be some kind of plant-type infestation that takes over other creatures, because they do appear to use other creatures' base models and then modify them. So it does look like ghouls or floaters or other things will get taken over by this infesting parasitic plant life, which apparently has a goal of spreading plant life everywhere, so it seems to be the case. So this is one of the ones that has particularly new AI, or particularly noticeable new AI, which I'm going to say is very, very cool, but probably not a complete game changer, but it should add some new interesting dynamics to at least this combat encounter. So we're going to get different types of enemies. The Overgrown tend to attack in groups, so also true of the Lesser Devil as well, but they tend to sort of interact with each other more than previous enemies did, so there is one particular type which appears to be the floater type, that will float on over to its allies and try and heal them during combat rather than attacking the player directly. So there's stuff like that going on, which is not an enemy behaviour that we've seen in 76 before, so new AI there, and there's also a couple of changes to the way they might try and attack, sort of mix up the attack patterns, that sort of thing, a little bit, to make it a bit more interesting for these new encounters, which is quite cool. So, creature number 2 is the Lesser Devil, and this looks very, very interesting. I really like the design on this, and it's really, really cool. Same goes for the Jersey Devil too, but definitely very, very cool. So it reminds me of kind of demons from Dungeons & Dragons world. Some of the smaller, lesser demons have similar kind of shapes and movements. Just kind of harks back to that a little bit, particularly getting flashbacks to playing Pathfinder, that sort of thing. But it's true of other things as well. So these things are basically bipedal creatures that tend to hunt in packs, and they try and sort of attack from unexpected angles. So sort of keep your peripheral vision open for these things, and they kind of leap at you from the sides and kind of claw you to death, which is quite cool. They're on 2 legs like some kind of raptor, whilst at the same time being kind of skinny and dinosaurish and kind of monstrous-like as well. Kind of a little bit canine-like as well. They're quite cool. I really like the design. They also throw back a little bit in my mind to kind of old-school Deathclaw models. If you look at, say, Fallout 3 in particular, and obviously New Vegas to a lesser degree as well, then the Deathclaws in those games are a bit more spindly and, frankly, a bit more scary. And they kind of hark back a little bit to that with the Jersey Devil, in my opinion, which is not terribly surprising, but also quite cool. So, mentioned the Jersey Devil as the final enemy type. This is a new cryptid, it's kind of on the scale of a boss type enemy. So we're looking at things that are closer to Sheepsquatch and Blue Devil and Agua, rather than, say, some of the more frequently occurring ones like Snallygasters or something like that are sort of lower tier ones. Those are more like the regular devils. But yeah, the Jersey Devil is bigger, looks to be red, you should have seen him on the thumbnail. And looks faster and more vicious, and he's going to appear as a boss-type enemy somewhere in the storyline, and this is therefore going to be the second part of the update, or so it would appear anyway. So it looks like we'll get the first 2, the Lesser Devil and the Overgrown, in the first update, and we will more thoroughly encounter all of them, particularly the Jersey Devil, in the second update, which is where it appears the sort of more story quest-centric side of things will be. The first one seems to be more on the expedition side of the sort of setup. And yeah, it definitely looks quite cool. It looks pretty intimidating. We haven't actually seen anything of how it acts, behaves, and its combat animations, anything like that. But apparently they put a lot of time and work into that, which is about what you'd expect. So it should be interesting to see when the time comes, and I guess they're not spoiling it for us, which is really, really cool. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more about that. So, new rewards. We have a whole bunch of new rewards coming on with this update, or these updates, depending on how you want to look at it. Primarily, it's variations on stuff we'd expect. So we've got new, unique weapons with unique skins, some of which have sort of animations attached to them from the sound of things, which could be quite interesting. Looks like we might get some interesting skins available either through the scoreboard or through completing the expeditions, or potentially other ways as well. They did acknowledge that there will be some of this cool stuff coming in the Atomic Shop as well, which is about what we'd expect, a mixed sort of spread of different ways of distributing this, including the Atomic Shop. There are new plushies, which is really, really cool. Looking forward to getting my hands on some of those. And there is a new armor set as well, which should be quite cool. I had initially thought this looked like a power armor set, and it does look like one, but apparently it's not. It's I did see Angry Turtle had a quick look at this, but yeah, it looks to be somewhat developed out from the Marine armor sets, but made a bit bigger and a bit more unique. So it has unique set bonuses as well, so that should be quite cool. And I think the idea is to set it up in a way that will make it sort of a new top-tier set of armor, along with the Secret Service armor and the Brotherhood Recon armor. So you'll have any of these three to choose from at the upper end, which is quite interesting. Personally, I'm not really into the style of this. The bonus seems to be fire damage when attacked in melee, which would be consistent with most of the enemies coming in Atlantic City being melee-type enemies, so it kind of balances out. But yeah, it looks quite interesting. If you're into that kind of design style, then it might be fun to get, or if you just want to change. But yeah, definitely interested to see about that. It's nice to have a new armor set anyway. I suspect I'll be sticking with my Brotherhood one, because I really do quite like the look of that armor set, but we shall see. So, last but not least, the last section of stuff that I wanted to talk about in this little drop of information that we got is the camp-related stuff, which is quite interesting. Probably not massively game-changing, but quite cool nonetheless. So the first thing is they are upgrading the camera mode, the free camera mode, which is very, very cool if you like to show off your camps, or you do what I do and showcase them on YouTube, because the camera is going to be a lot more mobile, a lot more flexible. It will be able to pass through solid objects, so you'll be able to create interesting cinematic sort of panning shots and stuff like that. And they want to give people more tools to show their camps off with when they've built them, is basically the idea behind this. So we should be able to make some more interesting sort of camera movements and things like that using photo mode, which is stuff that we've tried to do in the past using the limited tools we had available, but now we should have the option to do a whole lot more stuff and show things off in much more interesting style, which should be very, very cool. Definitely going to have a play around with that. The next interesting thing that they're dropping, and they've hinted at this before, is a weather-changing machine. So it kind of does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a kind of tall post thing that you can set to trigger weather effects specifically centered on your camp, which is quite interesting. It doesn't affect the whole area, so you don't get competition between, the person 50 yards up the road with their camp who wants sunny weather, whereas the person just down the street wants a rad storm. It's a lot more contained and focused than that, so that they don't butt into each other and cause problems with the wider sort of weather system. But basically, you can trigger whatever kind of weather you like within the build radius of your camp. So, you open up the build menu, you see that big green, bluey circle that you can build inside of. Inside that is where the weather effect will take place. How that's going to look from outside the circle, I'm curious to see, but as a solution to the obvious problem, as in you don't want to change the weather for everybody because you might screw up what somebody else is doing, that's not a bad idea. One of the other cool things about it is that they are adding new weather types to the availability in there. Whether or not that's going to include some of the ones that are available in custom worlds or not, I don't know. That would be interesting. But one of the cool things is snow. You will actually be able to have it snowing in your camp. Now, the snow's not going to settle. You won't see snow on the ground, but you'll be able to see snow falling during sort of exploration of your camp if you set the weather to do that. It looks like you might be able to see this happening from the outside looking in, which is probably going to be weird because you'd have just a cylinder of snow, but or radstorm or whatever else. but it'll be interesting to see sort of how that pans out. Maybe it won't become visible till you cross the line, I don't know, but it kind of looks like you can kind of tell where that line is, at least from the inside. But yeah, it's a really interesting idea, and if you want to create atmospheric, moody vibes for your camp, they talked a lot about like Halloween camps, stuff like that. So if you want a moody, dark, creepy Halloween camp, you probably don't want sunny weather on your camp. You can set it up so that that won't be a problem. Of course, maybe not the best example because this won't be coming out till December, so, you know. But you get the general vibe from that. So yeah, this is just sort of a little addendum to what they were telling us about the Atlantic City update earlier in the week, and yeah, considerably earlier than expected, but still quite cool. Some interesting new features. I'm really liking the look of the devil enemies. They're looking particularly cool, and they hark back to, like I say, Death Claws and to some stuff in the D&D universe, which is pretty cool as well. So it's going to be kind of fun to explore and have a look at those, and it should be interesting, as well as obviously exploring this whole new location as well, which would be really cool. New camp stuff is, yeah, that's cool. Definitely going to try and take advantage of that. I could see that being useful for different builds and stuff. More the camera stuff, I think, than the weather for me. Although being able to control it so that it's always sunny when I want to take thumbnails will be very nice. I have to admit, that's going to make my life considerably easier, and also just save me time when sort of shooting videos and stuff as well, because I won't have to faff around with controlling the weather so much, or trying to reset servers to do it. So that will be quite helpful for me. Not the biggest, most expansive addition to what we knew about the update already, but some cool little details, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on Atlantic City. The PTS is currently down, I believe. I don't think, if I double-check Discord quickly here, they have actually said anything about bringing it back up. No, they haven't, as the PTS was brought down because there were some performance issues with the update, and obviously they want to iron out some of the creases there. This is what the public test server is for, after all. So hopefully we'll get the chance to jump in and actually have a look at this in a bit more detail in the next few weeks. But for now, that is currently not available while working out some of the creases, so that's cool. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a look fairly soon. So thank you very much for watching, folks. I hope you found this little deep dive into some of the new features that are coming with the Atlantic City update interesting and informative. If you did, please do consider dropping subs and likes. I very much appreciate it. You can check all that stuff out down below, along with social media links, merch store, and channel memberships on the blue join button if you want to support the channel that way. I hugely appreciate it. Really, really helps out. So massive thank you for that. If you haven't joined us for the Starfield stuff, do have a look at that. There's some cool stuff coming there, and I've got some fun stuff lined up for the next few weeks on Starfield front as well, so please do check that out. And join us for live streams too, where we are playing Starfield and Fallout as well. I do hope we'll be seeing you there of an evening. Should be cool. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.